Welcome back to the channel, y'all. If you've never been here before, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified every time a new immigration update video is posted to this channel. Listen, in Florida, in the state of Florida, they are paying for illegal immigrants to self-deport on commercial jets. Let's get into this story right here. It says that the state of Florida and the Border Patrol are allowing illegal immigrants encountered during traffic stops to self-deport to their own country of origin through an initiative that's funded by the state's taxpayers. This is what the Washington Examiner has published to the public, and it is happening as we speak. Let's just say this. They're out here stopping and frisking people. They're out here working alongside local law enforcement, your neighborhood police officers. ICE is working right along with them. If you get pulled over because you did not signal left, but you turned left, or your turn signal is broken and you didn't realize it, and you actually, turned and get pulled over, it could be anything you get pulled over for. If your paperwork is not good, then you're in problems. Well, they are paying to have people self-deport. So the Florida Highway Patrol and Florida Division of Emergency Management have partnered with Border Patrol's Miami sector to allow illegal immigrants in Border Patrol custody to voluntarily depart the country and bypass the long-term detention. A lot of people are taking this initiative. They're taking this option. Why? Because many of them would rather be back in their own country than to go through the long-term detention. It is being said that the detention is like prison. The program has not been publicly announced, but has been in effect for several weeks now and has seen early success. 3 federal and state officials told the news media houses that this is the first partnership of its kind across the nation between the Department of Homeland Security and a state government to focus on the voluntary expeditious removal of illegal aliens, said Jeffrey J. Dennis, who is the chief patrol agent for the Border Patrol's Miami region. The program allows illegal aliens that are non-criminal, that are apprehended by Border Patrol and the state of Florida law enforcement officers that are 287G trained, to choose whether they want to immediately return to their country of origin or if they want to go into Department of Homeland Security custody and stay there pending an immigration hearing with an immigration judge. Many people are choosing that option also. Why? Because people want to fight for their right to stay here. Well, not their right to stay here, because it's not a right to stay here, it's a privilege. They want to fight for the privilege to stay here. Let's put it in proper context. But you have those who, I don't know, some people just don't like lockup and confinement. They do not want to be locked in. And the horrendous conditions. I don't know if y'all have seen the situation that's taking place with Alligator Alcatraz, and they are in a hurry to fill that place. Alligator Alcatraz is nowhere nice. State representatives went in to assess the situation. Human rights activist groups went in to assess the situation. And it was said that one of those individuals came out shaking. I saw the press conference that she gave after visiting Alligator Alcatraz, and she was visibly shaking while she was speaking about how they were being treated inside of that place. So there are people out there who are super scared. of confinement and would rather just be deported. And by the way, that's what it was designed to do. It was designed for people to bypass detention and go straight to deportation. The goal, remember, is to have as many people deported as possible. So, while Florida declined to say how much it's depending or how much it's spending on commercial deportation flights or how many immigrants have left so far, state and federal officials have said that this pilot partnership between the Trump and the DeSantis administration could actually help to speed up this mass deportation operation. The program is molded after, but it is not related to the Department of Homeland Security self-deportation program, which has garnered criticism from immigration lawyers and further expands President Donald Trump's national effort to remove criminal and non-criminal illegal immigrants from the country. It started out with them making a promise to remove all the criminals, especially those who had committed serious crimes. Now it's just remove everybody. Anyways, a state version of the federal program. So this is something that DeSantis came up with on his own, modeled it after what the program, the self-deportation program that the Trump administration has going on, made his own version of it for the state of Florida and has put it into play. And it's happening. So again, if you're in the state of Florida and you're here illegally, there is a self-deportation program that is unique to Florida. It was made up by Florida's governor, DeSantis, and they are basically putting you on a commercial jet, sending you home. So when you land home, it'll just look like you just stepped off of a regular flight. I was in foreign for quite some time, and now I'm heading back home. The program was actually molded after a phone app called the CBP Home app, which stands for Customs and Border Protection Home. Early in the Trump administration, Department of Homeland Security Kristi Noem pushed illegal immigrants who were living in the United States to use this app to notify the government of plans to leave the country and to use this app to self-deport to avoid the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration, to avoid being detained by ICE agents. This app was also used under the Biden administration to help people who were seeking asylum outside of the country for them to apply for a meeting with immigration officials in the United States of America before they even got here. That app was a way of slowing down or possibly even stopping a crowding at the border. That app was repurposed under the Trump administration rather. And the joke and the irony is it's the same app that brought many in that is now being used to put many out. So immigrants who choose to depart voluntarily, they can control the circumstances around their own departures as opposed to being arrested by ICE and possibly being detained for months and then being deported on a day that you have no control over. There's a significant backlog to see an immigration judge. The system is jam-packed, backed up, maximum capacity filled at the moment. And so those people are sitting right now in DHS custody in an immigration detention facility, and they're paying for them to sit. This is much more expeditious way, they're saying. It does free up the Department of Homeland Security and state resources, so we are not having to watch those people who are in custody if they take the voluntary route. Now, who is able to use this? So, to be eligible to self-deport, immigrants at Border Patrol stations must not have a criminal record. If you have a criminal record, they're going to have to work through your criminal record before you are able to deport. So you will be in confinement. They got to find out if you have charges in the United States of America, how much time, how serious your crime was, how much time you're supposed to serve, XYZ, before they can send you out. So you do not qualify. This is for people who have no criminal record whatsoever. So those who are approved through the CBP Home app, they will have their travels paid for completely. Then they will receive an additional $1,000 stipend, which we've all heard about, through the federal government, and they will have any fines for previous failure to depart waived. I don't know if you know it, but they have started racking up $1,000 per day for every day you are here in the United States of America and not supposed to be here. So when they catch you, they'll say, hey, you became illegal as of January 1st of 2025. Today is June. The penalty has been 1,000 US dollars per every day since then. You are $90,000 in, something like that, right? Just an example. And if you use this app to self-deport, they will waive that fee. Now, that's crazy to me because if you're going to self-deport, it doesn't matter how much you owe them anyways. Most people who are deported pretty much know that they will never make it back this way. Not saying that they can't. We've seen people get deported and made it back, but the people who I've seen get deported and made it back have been celebrities, people who are famous and earn millions, like a Busy Signal, like a Buju Banton, not a regular person. Anyways, the state program does not include a stipend, and it only covers the ride to the airport in Florida, and it covers the flight home as well. Let me say this part again. Those who are approved through the CBP Home app, they will have their travels paid for. They will receive an additional $1,000 stipend through the federal government, and they will have any of those fines for previous failure to depart waived. That's under the Trump administration and their version of this program. The Florida version, the state version, does not include a stipend. So you're not getting $1,000 if you choose the Florida version, and only covers the ride to the airport and your flight back to your homeland. Kevin Guthrie, the executive director of the Florida Division of Emergency Management, said that the state operation takes into account that at the time of your arrest, immigrants may not have their cell phones on them, and they may be able to download the CBP Home app and wait for departure approval. So the state's strategy to encourage self-deportation was made much easier. These are individuals that conscientiously chose not to participate in the CBP Home app program. They've been picked up. They are now in custody. They are in a CBP station, but we give them that one last chance. And you can quote me on this, to do the right thing, and that is self-deport. And if they do that, then we, the state of Florida, will help them to get from Florida back to their home country by purchasing that low-cost, one-way ticket. How it works: earlier this year, Governor Ron DeSantis strongly encouraged state and county law enforcers to become deputized to carry out certain immigration tasks through the Immigration and Nationality Act. That means all the police officers in the state of Florida are now also qualified to work as law enforcement agents for immigration. During a ride along with the Florida Highway Patrol in July, Washington Examiner saw state troopers who were deputized to work with Border Patrol and Immigration Customs Enforcement stop drivers for traffic offenses and turn them over to federal immigration authorities in the region. See, recently, before the Trump administration came in, our local police was not in this position. So they were not working with ICE or working with Homeland Security, and they were not required to turn an individual over to these authorities. Under Trump administration, this has changed. So if you live in the state of Florida, your police officers, your local police officers are now deputized, and they are now working and are hand in hand with immigration authorities in your region. So in the past, Florida state troopers who pulled over a vehicle with illegal immigrants inside, they could not bring those individuals to federal agents. That's in the past. Now they hand you over to them. As of March of 2025, deputized state troopers have the legal authority to transport illegal immigrants to federal authorities, creating a pipeline of new detainees who are awaiting longer-term detention. Illegal immigrants are detained for hours or a few days at Border Patrol or ICE facilities in Florida before they are sent to a long-term detention facility. And just to give you an idea what that means is you could be picked up in Florida, and before you know it, you are in South Carolina. So at Border Patrol stations in Florida, federal agents give these immigrants the option to volunteer to leave the U.S. to avoid legal proceedings and extended detention. If the immigrant agrees to leave, they are referred to a Florida Division of Emergency Management representative at a Border Patrol station to coordinate a flight back to their homeland in the next day or 2 days. Now, this is a partnership between both parties. Border Patrol is doing the processing, but with state partners are fulfilling the actual voluntary return. The state currently uses Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood International Airport for these flights, but it plans to expand to additional airports in the near future. The state troopers then walks the immigrant through the Transportation Security Administration checkpoint at the airport and all the way up to the gate, ensuring that that individual boards the plane and departs, according to Florida Highway Patrol Executive Director Dave Kerner. So it's not a case where they're going to be on, a marshal is going to be on a flight with you and they're going to handcuff you or make you look like a criminal, or, the people who are going to see them walk you to the gate, those are the people who are going to see it. After that, you're on your own. Once they're sure that you got on that flight, then you're on your own. So it kind of takes the embarrassment factor out of it. The 3 state and federal officials who spoke with the news media recently declined to provide the number of illegal immigrants who have chosen to self-deport through the state program. Honestly, I think they're keeping those numbers away from the public because it's probably not going as good as they thought it would, and they're not getting that high number of people they thought they would who are volunteering to depart. You got to understand that some people have laid down roots here and they are in custody, but their children and their wives or their husbands are right outside and here, and they're going to fight to stay here. So some people are willing to go through the extended detention and the bad conditions they have people in. So I don't think the state's getting the numbers that they are looking for. However, it is healthy to let the public know that there is an option. You don't have to sit in detention for a long time. If you choose this option in the state of Florida, you are out of here within 1 to 2 days. There are people who have been detained for 1 to 2 months and are still in detention and are still waiting. Additionally, Florida is offering the option to self-deport to illegal immigrants who are brought to the sites in the Everglades that are known as Alligator Alcatraz. This is a state facility operating underneath the 287G authority. So if you get out to Alligator Alcatraz, this is one of the options that they're going to give you, is that you can be out of there within 1 to 2 days if you self-deport. No one at Alligator Alcatraz so far has opted to self-deport since the site opened earlier this month. Most illegal immigrants that are detained at Alligator Alcatraz were individuals who were ordered to be deported, is what the report says. Detainees at that site also include criminals who are not given the option to self-deport through the state effort. Officials expect that the Department of Homeland Security will open the aperture and expand the state self-deportation efforts to illegal immigrants who are in ICE custody as well. That means for right now, some people, this is not an option for them, but they are looking to make it an option for everybody who is in state custody. Empty out all these holding tanks. As long as the person says, I want to go home, send them. But there will be legal ramifications and there are concerns. Guthrie proactively maintained that flights that are purchased for illegal immigrants who choose to self-deport are not expensive at all. For example, he said that next day, one-way flight from Fort Lauderdale Airport to, let's say, Guatemala City, those were readily available for less than $100. A search for flights revealed next day and even the same day flights to Central America and Mexican cities at those similar price points. They will gladly send you home for $100 for your flight. He said that we're providing them a low-cost option to the taxpayers and a way to pay. He said, this is 100% and most effective way of dealing with the individuals that are there is illegal immigrants, or I'll say illegal detainees here in the state of Florida. I mean, the detainees are piling up. These places are getting overcrowded. They're bursting at max capacity. So we have to start coming up with ways to get them up out of here. Immigrants who choose to self-deport may have a chance to re-enter the United States of America in the future. Many people are not buying this though, but this is what they are saying. Noam has been very clear in her PSA announcements that if you make us do it for you, you will never come back to this country. This is an opportunity for them to work hand in hand with the individual and basically make the right decision, which is to self-deport so that they have the ability to come back into this country maybe at a later point in time, a year, 2 years, 10 years from now, who knows? The American Immigration Lawyers Association actually issued a statement in May warning that immigrants who leave the country through the CBP Home app may be unable to return. And these are American Immigrant Lawyers Association, who are like advocates. So people are taking their word more than anything else. And like I said before, most people believe that once they are deported, they are never going to be able to come back here anyways, even if they self-deport. AILA cautions individuals when reviewing the announcements to understand that it is deceptive and that it gives people the impression that there are no consequences, such as being barred from returning in the future. AILA said in a statement that no one should accept this without first obtaining good legal advice from an immigration attorney or from other qualified representatives. It sounds good, but it's not going to work in your favor. However, other legal challenges could pop up as well. Aaron Reichlin Melnick, the American Immigration Council's senior fellow, warned that someone who self-deports and does not have a criminal record would be unable to return to the U.S. through a visa for at least the next decade. Reichlin Melnick was also concerned that immigrants in Border Patrol detention may not have adequate time to make a thoughtful decision or access to legal counsel to know their rights and to understand the immigration court process. This situation is inherently coercive, Reichlin Melnick said in a phone call with the Washington Examiner and other news media houses. Fundamentally, decisions about where and how to leave the country often require the assistance of a lawyer to know what the consequences are going to be. Immigrants who choose to self-deport through the state program may be unaware of legitimate ways that they can actually avoid deportation, and they may be under the impression that returning to the U.S. following self-deportation will be easy than it actually might be. Many individuals who leave the United States will never be able to come back into the United States, is what Reichlin Melnick said, which many of us know that. There is no line that you can stand in. There is no pathway that they can enter. The legal immigration system is not an option for you once you have chosen this route and have self-deported. And that's the reality of that. However, if you are one of those who don't want to be in Alligator Alcatraz, you can be out of there in 1 to 2 days because they are paying for these migrants or immigrants to deport on commercial jets. Leave your comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one, and I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.